Like when you're dating somebody new, how long do you typically wait before having sex with them?
A couple, like at least a week or two, sometimes longer. But it's usually a few dates in.
Okay.
It's usually never the first date.
So this is always going to be bad?
No.
Well, I'm just confused because like
it was just bad with him because I just didn't ever feel close to him. I thought it felt just very mechanical. Like the sex that you get when you meet somebody for the first time and you're just banging, that's what it felt like for me. It didn't feel like the love and the intimacy that you're supposed to feel with your lifelong partner.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. I completely actually like understand what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I do too. That's why I was trying to like give a little, yeah.
You can have amazing,
advice.
great sex on paper.
Or camera.
Like, for example, one of my last boyfriends was a perfect 10 on paper. He hit all of the boxes. We had theoretically great sex, but we didn't have that connection, and so our relationship only lasted for a couple months because he felt it and I felt it, and it was just like a mutual, this was great while it lasted, thank you very much, but I'm gonna be on my way. And
I don't know, man, that sounds like a lot of work.
So what it sounds like to me, Brian, is you have had a lot of mechanical sex, but you haven't had a lot of really intimate, wonderful, beautiful sex because you don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, it just seems like you want this sort of vague, nebulous, ethereal thing, which
the people who know
Disney,
know. The people who know what I'm talking about. That's all I have to say.
Well, I mean, I'll actually throw this out there. I actually don't like the rough sex that you speak of. I actually prefer more intimate, gentle sex.
There you
I'm
go.
not clear if that's what you're really... Why are you looking at me that way? Look, I get that you want to just like have super crazy rough sex. Relax. Not everybody's into that, okay? Chill out, bro.
I'm just trying to see what you're gonna say.
No, I actually prefer. I don't want to like do the fucking jackhammer.
Yeah.
Okay, but
That's
have
not
you had a
interesting
like
to me.
real connection? Like, have you felt that super deep connection with someone?
Like, have you looked into a woman's eyes and just like held her hand and have it be this beautiful moment between you two, like two souls bonding together? If you've never,
it doesn't have to be that.
You want
intense.
some Disney shit?
It doesn't have to be that.
Yes.
intense.
You want
But
some
you know a
Disney
difference between like when you have
That
a
sounds
connection
kind
and you
of.
don't
I
have a
can't
connection.
say the word. I'm not going to say the word, but that sounds kind of.
no, that's
You
just,
know what I
I
mean?
think
No,
what
you
real
just have
true intimacy is.
I
And
think
I don't
your
think,
expectations be kind of crazy when it comes to
No.
sex.
Okay, my question though, have you had experiences where you feel more connected than another? If you're having the same type of sex, have you felt more connected to one person over the other emotionally during the sex?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so that's exactly what she's saying.
But
To her
And it's
extent is not exactly your extent, but it does make sense, right? Of that different level of connection.
and it's not a lot of work when you have a natural intrinsic connection. It works.
But
and
that's
you don't have
why
to think about it.
It makes sense to test it out before you get married in certain people's scenario. If you're not for religious reasons, that's totally cool and that's your own thing. But like for some people, that's not what they believe in. So
I'm a little lost, to be honest. I'm not even sure where to tackle that from. Maybe your expectations are a little too high.
And that's possible. I was blessed enough to be intimate with somebody who blew my mind in every way possible. And it wasn't the sex, it was the intimacy, it was the love, it was the connection. And so I have a pretty high benchmark from which to base my future connections. And
You're screwed. Screwed.
I would tell
That's
him all the
fucked.
time. And if you're watching, he knows. I would tell him all the time, you ruined me. You literally ruined
Alpha
me
widow. This
because
is
now
what
I
Red
have
Pill
this super
is
high
all about.
expectation. So I'm very aware of it.
There's this, I don't like the term alpha, but it's actually a good descriptive thing here. So you've been with a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Was he, I mean, the sex itself was great, but was he also like really attractive and like hit a bunch of check marks too?
I don't think, yes and no. I don't think, well,
Yo,
I
this
personally-
shit is dangerous. Once a girl gets fucked a certain way, bro, you guys are fucked. I'm
yeah,
sorry,
I'm
dude.
sorry.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree
sorry.
With that.
I'm sorry. But I would say
It's over.
I would say he was a
over.
traditionally
Done with.
attractive guy. I don't know.
This
if
is
he
why
was
body.
a 10 out
This
of 10.
kind of segues into our next conversation that you wanted to talk about is body count. Here's the thing: once you've fucked enough guys, you've landed on a certain dude that just like it might not even be sex, but it could be like he's just so fucking attractive, or his status, or just like something, his charisma, or the way you feel about him, that is not going to be easily replicated in other men, and you're going to use that guy as the benchmark for all the other guys going into the future.
Absolutely. I have a really great analogy for
But this
that.
actually
It's-
almost let me just
I think
add
men
one
do
thing.
that too, though.
Not really.
Yeah, they do.
Not really. It's a bit different. This actually stems back to the rating thing. So here's where women get into big trouble. Because you have sexual access to men that you can't get commitment from, if you those really attractive dudes that will never give you commitment, and then like the guys who will actually commit to you are like 1, 2, 3 points down, either their sex game, status, money, whatever it is, you're gonna be comparing the guy who you can actually get commitment from to the guy who you can't get commitment from, and that makes for a terrible relationship, because you think you've settled
What does
when
that have to do
really
with
you were just
connection,
shooting out of
though?
your league, huh?
Talking about physical is not the same as what she's talking about, though.
Exactly.
She was talking about connection that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not-
Do you not know what connection is?
Okay, so
I know
let
what
me
connection
give
I'm
you
just
my
saying,
analogy.
like, that's not the same thing of
Excuse
like.
me.
At the end of the day, in terms of sex, what we were talking about is looking for that specific connection. So like,
What does that even mean?
I'm
The
confused.
connection.
You only,
if you've
gonna
never
explain it
experienced
to
it, it's hard to
Yeah.
quantify
The
it.
vibe. You guys are
Wait,
talking about the click, the chemistry, the
Wait.
vibe.
yeah, is there such thing
have
as
you
sexual
never
chemistry? Do you-
experienced that connection
Well,
with somebody?
there's sexual chemistry and then there's romantic chemistry. I'm sure you would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can feel the click or vibe for somebody before you've had sex with them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
100.
But sexual chemistry is what she's talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Okay.
There is
But
zero.
it sounds like you're holding these men to this this one guy just fucked
And I'm
you
not
really
denying
proper.
that. He
and
literally
no,
ruined
but she
me,
actually
yeah.
admitted it. She said from her own mouth, she said, he ruined me for other men.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
And that's precisely why segueing here, why I think body count matters. Because eventually it's like Russian roulette. Well, not Russian roulette. You keep rolling the dice, and eventually you're going to land on a dude who f***s you just right, or who's just attractive enough. And then all the guys, let's assume that relationship doesn't work out. That's the benchmark for all the other guys moving forward. And it sets those men up for disappoint. You're going to disappoint your girl.